Hey there, scholars. This is Mrs. Bowers coming to you live. It's a beautiful, cold Friday. I want to do some spiral review for some of my scholars who are still experiencing some confusion with division. Now, right now, we are in the middle of our fractions unit, so we are doing some fraction work still, but this is just for some of my scholars who wanted some helpful suggestions, helpful strategy for long division. So today, I'm just focusing on strategies for division when there's no remainder. I'm not going to throw that in until maybe next week, a video next week. But today, I just want to start off basic and simple, start with the basics, not to overwhelm anybody. So first, I just want to go over some vocabulary first. All right, so I have the problem 10,848 divided by 4 equals 2,712. Well, first and foremost, we know that the answer when we divide is called the quotient. The dividend is the number that's being divided, and the divisor is the number of which how many times we are dividing the dividend. So the first thing I tell my students to look for in a division problem is how many digits are in the divisor. So you'll see here, this is a 1-digit divisor, and we'll do an example of a 2-digit divisor in a few minutes. So let's say that we have the example 10,848 divided by 4. So first I'm going to look at my divisor. How many digits are there? There is a 1-digit divisor here. So I'm going to use the strategy of a place value chart. I highly recommend this strategy for my scholars who are visual learners. I'm one of those. I need to actually physically see to understand the movement and the grouping of these numbers. So I'm going to look at my dividend, 10,848, and I'm going to place those digits into my place value chart, meaning I need to be well aware of my place value in order to fill out this place value chart. So I see that there is a 1 in the 10,000th place. There is a 0 in the thousands place. There's an 8 in the hundreds place. There is a 4 in the tens place. And there is an 8 in the ones place. That's the first step. Now I'm going to look at my divisor. My divisor is a 4. I'm going to ask, how many groups of 4 can I make in each place value? I'll start with the largest place value, the 10,000s. I see there's only one place value disk, so I cannot make a group of 4. Now, my students know from 4th grade and from the beginning of this year, we know that when we shift place values, when we're moving right to left, is that right? Yeah, left. Our values multiply by 10. When we work the other way, we're dividing by 10. So I cannot make a group of 4 here. So this one group of 10,000s is now going to become a group of 10 in the thousands place. The reason why is because when we see 1 in the 10,000s place, that's just like saying there's 10 in the thousands place. That's why we do this. Now I'm going to ask myself, how many groups of 4 can I make now in my thousands place? Since this guy moved over, I'm not going to look at him anymore. All right, how many groups of 4 can I make? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a group of 4. And I'm looking and I have 2 left over. I cannot make another group of 4. There's only 2 left. So I made 1 group of 4, 2 groups of 4 in the thousands place. Now, same rule of thumb. I cannot make a group of 4. So because of our knowledge of place value, we know that both of these groups from the thousands place will turn into a group of 10 in the hundreds place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is because when we see two thousands. It's also just like saying 20 hundreds. That's why we do this work. Now I can make groups of 4. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a group of 4. And then I have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. That's another group of 4. So I can ask myself, how many groups of 4 did I make in the hundreds place? 1 group of 4, 2 groups of 4, 3 groups of 4, 4 groups of 4, 5 groups of 4, 6 groups of 4, 7 groups of 4. There's no place value discs left over here, so now I can just move over to a fresh new place value. There are 4 in the tens place. How many groups of 4 can I make? 1, 2, 3, 4. I just made 1 group of 4 in the tens place. Now move over to my ones place because there's none left over. Let's make groups of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a group of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a group of 4. I made 2 groups of 4 in the ones place. You know what's so great and wonderful? This is my quotient, 2,712. Now, if you're saying to me, you know what, Mrs. Bowers, I understand how to fill in a place value chart. I understand how to make my groups in the place value chart. But how does this connect to the way that my parents know how to help me with long division? Well, let's kind of compare side by side how both these strategies work side by side. So let's say I'm going to rewrite this. Parents, this is called the standard algorithm. This is the way that you and I learned how to do long division. So if you hear your students come home and saying, oh, I want to do the standard algorithm, and you say, what does that even mean? That's just basic long division for us. Okay, first and foremost, start with your biggest place value, which is the 1. How many groups of 4 can I make out of 1? None. How many groups of 4 can I make out of 10? Parents, you know the first number is going to be 2 because 4 times 2 is 8. Subtract 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down the 8. How many groups of 4 can you make with 28? 7. Bring down your 4. How many groups of 4 can you make with 4? 1. And then bring down your 8. 4. How many groups of 4 can you make out of 8? You can make 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Now, the way that this goes hand in hand with the place value chart, I want you parents to notice. How many groups of 4 could I make with 1? 0. We couldn't make a group of 4 here either. So that turned into a group of 10. So in the thousands place, now we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We had 10 in the hundreds place. We could only make 2 groups of 4. So 2 times 4 is 8. Remember, we had a leftover. We had 2 left over here that we had to move to the hundreds place, aka 2 left over. So we brought down the 8. We then had 28 in the hundreds place. If you look closely and count up those place value discs, there's 28 in the hundreds place. So cool. When we did that work, we made our groups of 4. We realized that there is 7 groups of 4 in the hundreds place because 7 times 4 is 28. When we did all that regrouping, there was no place value discs left. Oh, kind of like here, there was none left. So we moved on, brought down the 4. We had a group of 4 here. How many groups of 4 could we make? We made 1 group of 4. 1 times 4 is 4. We had none left over. Look, we had none left over. You brought down the 8. We had 8 here. How many groups could we make? We made 2 groups of 4. We made 2 groups of 4 because 2 times 4 is 8. We have 0 left over. There was 0 left over here as well. So they go perfectly hand in hand, okay? Another strategy that we can use is skip counting the divisor. That will help us. And that's when you have a 2-digit divisor. So when you ask yourself that question, how many digits are in the divisor? If your answer is there's 2 digits in the divisor, don't panic. It's going to be okay, I promise. You're going to skip count the divisor. Let's see what I mean by that. And parents, a lot of us now, because we're so confident and comfortable with our math skills, we can do this skip counting in our head. We can round and kind of skip count. But for my students who cannot get to that point yet, I advise that they just skip count the divisor. My divisor is a 22. So I'm just going to list my multiples of 22. So 22 times 1 is 22. 22 times 2 is 44. Skip counting is just repeated addition. So 22 plus 22 is 44, plus 22 is, oh my gosh, 66. Plus 22 is 88. And that should be enough for now, I think. Alrighty, so let's check out our first steps. How many groups of 23 can I make with 3? None. How many groups of 22 can I make out of 38? I can make 1 group, because 22 times 1 is 22. I'm going to subtract. Bring down my 6. All right, so far with my skip counting, I only made it to 88. But I bet you I can get closer to 66 if I keep skip counting. So 88 plus 22, that's going to be 8 plus 2 is 0. Carry my 1, that's 10, that's 11. Plus 22 is 132. Plus 22 is 154. Plus 22 is 176. All right, so here we go. How many times can I multiply 22 to get me close to 166? Well, 22 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7, because we don't want to go over that number. So 22 times 7 is 154. I'm going to subtract. Bring down my 3. 123. Since I already have this skip counted list in front of me, that's so wonderful. It's going to make my life a lot easier. 22 times what gets me close to 123 without going over it? Times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5. Because 5 times 22 is 110. Now I can subtract. Bring down my last number in the ones place, 132. Because I already did all the hard thinking work with my skip counting, this will be so much easier for me. 22 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6. Boom, I hit it right on the head. My remainder is 0. So my quotient is 1,756 with no remainder. That's what I get for not looking. Okay, so hopefully over the weekend I can also throw in some multiplication review as well. But I'm going to try my best to keep throwing in some spiral review for us to get us better prepared for the state test and better prepared for 6th grade. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Stay warm.